Sorry, no, thanks very much. No, I was listening to all the presentations in my office, so just in case you were wondering. No, there's a couple of things. I was at the conference myself yesterday, and I found it very interesting. But it's very clear that, like, from everyone, and okay, there might be differences with some people, but by and large, that supply of social and affordable housing is the big issue, and that the private market is not going to deliver that. And I think that's very obvious. But one thing I've found very hard to sort of take over the years is that nobody has come up and said that the state should be operating a company and doing what we've done back in the 60s and the 70s, where the state was running a company and was making it available to the different bodies to build social and affordable. And there could be an element of building private from that as well. But I'm just saying, I cannot see us getting out of this circle unless we get into a recession when things will collapse. But at the moment, we're not going to be able to get rid of our major problems with homelessness and housing. That's just a general thing that seems to be coming across at that conference, and that's the way I've read it. But just in regards to the HAP, we're spending something like between 700 and 800 million now between the HAP, RAS and rent supplement. And increasingly now, this is now, the local authorities are sending out letters that you have to come on to HAP from rent supplement. That's now increasing the amount of homeless people, because this is actually where nobody can get HAP. And they can't even get their landlords to agree to HAP. I'm finding now that's nearly come to a standstill. We've transferred as many people from rent supplement, we've done all that. Now we're going into a situation where that's virtually coming to a standstill. So I think we're really facing a very serious situation, and I think we need to be watching that. It's just, I've had several people in the last few weeks in my office for the same reason. So I just think we want to watch what's going on there, and I'd like to hear, you know, the amount of money, and we're told by 2020 it's going to be over £1 billion or thereabouts. I mean, that's absolutely scandalous that this money has been put in the way it is, and we aren't investing in social and affordable. And it was also interesting to see, I've always had this thing, I come from Finglas, I was born in Finglas, I came from a council estate, and I've always been upset by this general opinion that we have to have social, affordable and private, and we don't have that, there's something wrong. There was always this constant remarks about social housing, as though people who are looking for social housing came from a different background than everyone else. I've always been very, very upset by it, and I've never bought it, and I never will. And even listening to the conference and some of the speakers, it's quite clear that we were very successful in building social housing, and we have models that are going back for many years. And I, you know, what's wrong with us looking back at those models and utilising them? You know, I just don't get this constant. You know, our biggest problem in building many of the estates, whether it's Finglas, Ballymun, Tallinn, places like that, was not putting the infrastructure, not putting the, you know, all the different facilities, the creches, the shopping malls, the transport. All these came after, in most cases, but many of them are in place now. So, and I did get the impression from Brendan Kenny, and I'm a very great admirer of Brendan Kenny, but one thing I disagree with him on, that he's adamant that we won't be putting large-scale developments in place where there's going to be a lot of social housing. Now, we haven't got many left in Dublin City Council, but Fingal has. Fingal has very huge, large tracts of land that we could build a massive amount of social and affordable housing. Probably the biggest amount in the country is in Fingal, you know, so it's just a thing that it upsets me. Hugh, I'm a great admirer of O'Coola on housing, but the one thing that's coming across that I think there's a doubt in the minds of Dublin City Council that you can deliver large scale. I'll be honest, I've had this argument with them, and you're confined now to, there's a 30 or so, 38 units coming up now in Ballymun, and the quality of the house you've delivered is outstanding, really good, and you're the only affordable thing in town at the moment, and it's really baffling. But you did say there's something that surprised me. You felt you were being confined to Ballymun. I thought I got that impression from what you said. Now, I would be very disappointed to think that that will be the case. I know you're moving into Cork and you're moving somewhere else, but in Dublin City Council you gave me that impression when you were talking. I think that's not, so there's plenty of places right across Dublin that could utilise. But is it down to the shortage of workers, skilled people? You know, are we stuck in a situation where I keep hearing this, that we need to entice people back from Australia and other places because of the shortage of workers? We lost so many of them over the last number of years. But is that one of the biggest stumbling blocks that we have in terms of ourselves? Because that's really what's coming across to me. Recently, Dublin City Council spent 35 million in buying 90 units. Work out that. Now, just work it out. The 4 bedrooms, between 1, 2, 3 and 4, the 4 bedrooms alone cost 500,000 each. Now, the builder must be, he's sitting there laughing and saying, my God, what's going on in the world? Surely we can build houses, you can build them at less than half that price, and surely we can do better than that. That's not value for money. I know we're in a crisis, and I know the argument that's been put to me on this, but I have to say it's mind-boggling that we've spent so much money like that, you know. So anyhow, that's just some questions and observations I've had. Right.